Hello and welcome back to ERU for a new season. Very exciting, and made even more so because this year we're changing the setup slightly. So as you know, over lockdown we were bringing you one winner, one loser, one star of the week. But this year we want to bring you guys closer to European football's biggest games. So coming up on today's show, I've just finished watching Real Madrid versus Real Sociedad. I'll be breaking down the build-up, the key moments, the key performers from that game, as well as bringing you an unsung hero and a star of the week from the rest of European football's top 5 leagues. Cannot wait for this one. Let's get started. This game was actually Real Madrid's first in La Liga this season for the 2020-21 campaign. Of course, they've been given an extended break after the Champions League and went into it obviously as La Liga champions. They won the title by 5 points last year. They went unbeaten post-lockdown. They won 10 out of 11 games. But tonight they had some tough opposition in Real Sociedad, who finished 6th last year, although they'll be disappointed with their slump towards the end of the season post-lockdown. In terms of their summers, well, Los Blancos has been pretty quiet, as we all know. They've mainly focused on offloading the stars that they no longer wanted, like James Rodriguez, Sergio Reguilon and Gareth Bale. So it's mainly been cutting the squad for them. They've also got rid of Oscar Rodriguez, who's been snapped up by Sevilla. Kubo's gone on loan to Villarreal, but they did bring back Martin Odegaard, who started in this game, just his second ever La Liga appearance for Real Madrid and his first ever start. I think his previous game for Real Madrid came 1,947 days ago, so a long time coming. For Real Sociedad, well, they of course were without Odegaard now, so all attention was on David Silva, who actually started on the bench in this game. He'd only trained with the squad for 4 days, I believe, after having to quarantine after contracting coronavirus, but all eyes on him as he returned to La Liga for the first time since June 2010. And Imanol Alguacil's men could actually be fairly confident going into this game. They'd won 3 of their previous 5 meetings in all competitions with Real Madrid. But prior to that first victory of those 3 in January 2019, they actually hadn't won since 2014. So it did seem like a bit of an uphill task. But as I said, the main talking point was Zinedine Zidane choosing to go with Odegaard, Rodrygo and Vinicius flanking Benzema. And we were all pretty excited to see how it would go. In terms of key moments, well, Real Madrid actually started very well. As you know, they played pretty well throughout the game. They dominated territory, they dominated possession, and they started really well, despite only having 2 shots in the first 25 minutes. Real Sociedad didn't actually have any, but their press was pretty intense, it was pretty relentless. Real Sociedad had only completed 60% of their passes after 15 minutes. Now, there was a little bit of a scare after 36 minutes when their keeper Romero did a bit of a sort of Kepa moment, passed it out to Vinicius. Benzema nearly scored after rounding the keeper, and then Sociedad had their sort of best chance of the half, really. Oyarzabal nutmegged Varane, beautifully slipped in Alexander Isak, and he tried to curl it into the bottom right-hand corner. Courtois with a stunning save with his outstretched left boot, and that now means he's saved 23 of the last 25 shots on target that he's faced in La Liga. What a mental statistic. So he carries on his superb form from the back end of last year. And as I said, Real Madrid continued to work hard throughout the game. They were very intense with their pressing. At half-time, despite dominating possession, as I said, I think they had over 60% at half-time, they'd completed 24 ball recoveries to Real Sociedad's 23. Kroos and Modric were slightly concerned without Casemiro starting in midfield, how they'd worked defensively. They were pulling their weight. Rodrygo and Vinicius were running back. Odegaard was busy. And it was a really solid defensive display from Real Madrid, who limited Real Sociedad to just 1 shot on target. That effort that I was just talking about with Courtois making that phenomenal save. In terms of action in the second half, well, there was that nice 1-2 I talked about. Carvajal had a nice long-range effort as well. David Silva then came on for his Real Sociedad debut for Alexander Isak, who looked a little bit cross going off. Oyarzabal then moved to become the target man, but then he was subbed off as well. It very much had an early season feel to it. There was a lot of substitutions. The second half really lacked any sort of quality moments, I would say. And yeah, the game slightly petered out. Well, the big talking point, as I said before, was Odegaard starting, and he played okay in his 69 minutes on the pitch. Not fantastic, didn't look fully match fit, which you'd probably expect, to be honest, after a long break for him. He put one lovely through ball to Benzema at one stage, but his overall performance, just 1 tackle, 2 key passes, 1 shot. I thought Kroos and Modric were pretty solid in midfield, as I said, but I thought Real Madrid's best player was probably Ferland Mendy. His 90 looked like this. He put in 3 tackles, interceptions, won 2 aerial duels, created 3 chances and had 3 shots. His link-up play with Vinicius Junior was one of the highlights of the game, I think. Although Vinicius Junior, I don't know about you guys, what do you guys think on this? I think he needs to really improve in that final third. He's been at Real Madrid 3 years now, and he kind of reminds me of Raheem Sterling of his Liverpool days. He's got all the tricks, he's a phenomenal dribbler, but if he wants to get to that elite level and fulfill his potential, which I think he can get to, you know, one of the best players in the world, his end product really does need to improve. And Rodrygo on the other side as well, too quiet. So big seasons needed for them, especially with Hazard and Asensio coming back from injury in the next couple of weeks. For Real Sociedad, well, Mikel Merino, Henry Hill's favourite, was absolutely awesome. Cut off all passing lanes, worked really well alongside Guevara in that midfield. I actually think Man United could do a lot worse than Mikel Merino. He'd be a fantastic long-term Matic replacement. But for me, man of the match, 26-year-old Aritz Alustundo, who I'd never actually heard of before, to be fair. He's had a lot of injury issues over the last few years, but he's a centre-back playing for Real Sociedad. I think he came through the academy there. On the night, 6 tackles and interceptions, 3 aerial duels won, 8 clearances. And as I said, he's had his injury issues over the last couple of years, but a name to look out for. Alustundo. I think I'm getting that right, Spanish fans. My Spanish is a little bit rusty. But yeah, let's move on to what it meant. So for Real Madrid, the main positive is that they didn't lose. They keep their unbeaten run on La Liga opening day going. They've now gone 12 unbeaten with 8 wins and 4 draws. They actually haven't lost since 2008, which is a pretty impressive record when they lost to Deportivo La Coruña. Next weekend, they play Real Betis, who are of course managed by Manuel Pellegrini, who managed to get a win this weekend with, I believe, I saw the highlights actually, a beautiful Fekir penalty. So that'll be a sterner test, but Real Madrid will definitely need to improve their cutting edge. But yes, let's finally move on to a game with some goals. Let's go on to our star of the week. For Star of the Week, I obviously wanted to give a shout out to Andrej Kramaric, who of course did fantastically well in Hoffenheim's 3-2 victory over Cologne, bagging a hattie. But I had to agree with @Vassal Detelenara, I think I've got that right, 8 suggestion on Twitter, of Leroy Sane, whose return to the Bundesliga in Bayern's 8-0 demolition of Schalke was absolutely superb. Now, Serge Gnabry might have got a lot of the headlines after scoring a hat-trick of typically well-taken goals, and Lewandowski pretty much broke the internet with that cheeky Rabona assist, but for me, this was all about Leroy Sane. Now, he was only fit enough to play 72 minutes after missing the entirety of last season with an ACL injury, but it was a pretty impressive 72 minutes. Have a listen to this. So he completed a dribble, fired off 2 shots, created 5 chances, the most on the pitch, scored a goal and bagged 2 assists. He was a bundle of energy and he looked phenomenal, in great form, and what a price as well. I feel like for Bayern it's gone slightly under the radar because it was done a few months ago, but what a price for a proven player who's been performing in the Premier League for years, only 24, German international, no Serge Gnabry. His link-up play with Lewandowski was already frightening, and it really does bode well. Obviously Bayern were awesome going forward last year. They scored 3 or more goals in 14 of their 34 league games. Get a load of that. But they'd never scored 8. And they've got Alphonso Davies to add in as well. So it is a pretty terrifying prospect for the rest of the Bundesliga. And Sane looks like the signing of the summer, in my opinion. Do you guys agree with that? Let me know if you don't in the comments down below. For Unsung Heroes, shout out to Adrien Truffert, who got a goal and assist in Rennes' 2-1 victory over Monaco. Only 18-2, definitely one to watch. But I had to agree with @Zachary_MC, giving it to Iago Aspas. 33, both goals in Celta Vigo's 2-1 victory over Valencia. The second one, an absolute peach of a free kick. You've got to watch it. Curling with the left foot away from the goalkeeper into that top left. He's now scored 14 league goals in all of his 5 seasons since joining from Sevilla. And obviously it didn't work out at Liverpool at all, but he has carved himself an excellent career and is definitely an unsung hero. So well done to Iago Aspas. So guys, that was ERU for this week. What did you guys think of the new format? I promise we'll bring you more entertaining games. We gambled this week. We thought Real Madrid's return would prove fruitful and it didn't quite work out. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know who you guys want to see us cover next week and what fixtures, and who else deserved a shout for Star of the Week and Unsung Hero. And of course, head over to Football Daily and watch Winners and Losers. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.